Back in the show, Brian Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Mike Sempervive, also of WrestlingObserver.com. We got a lot of news to get into here today, so let's not waste any time. Last night, the return of CM Punk, kind of, to WWE. CM Punk is, in fact, getting a gig on the WWE Backstage show. This from the front page of WrestlingObserver.com. After a 5-year absence from WWE programming, CM Punk resurfaced on tonight's episode of WWE Backstage. Renee Young introduced Punk towards the end of the show. Punk entered the studio, to Cult of Personality, walked to the camera, and said, "It's as simple as this. Just when you think they have the answers, I change the culture." He then said he would be on next week's episode of Backstage. In a press release, it was noted that Punk would be joining WWE Backstage as a special contributor and analyst. He will be making select appearances in the studio with regular host Young and Booker T. It was previously reported in the Wrestling Observer newsletter that Punk's agents contacted Fox about being part of WWE Backstage. He took part in a screen test. No information on his status had been revealed until now. He walked out of WWE January 2014, the day after that year's Royal Rumble. WWE Backstage airs on Tuesdays, 11 p.m. Eastern on FS1. It is a Fox Sports production, which means that Punk will be working for Fox rather than WWE. So a lot to get into here. First off, I do not have the numbers for last night's WWE Backstage, but the week earlier, the show did 49,000 viewers. That is not, I am not misspeaking, 49,000 viewers.
That's the culture that he's going to try to change.
So, I can only imagine, like if I'm CM Punk, to get me to come back to a show that's doing 49,000 viewers after being out of wrestling for 5 years, I mean, you've got to pay me a lot of money. Now, what I could tell you about negotiations with Punk are that Punk did in fact negotiate with AEW. I know that Punk's story, I don't even know what his story is now, but I know that the story he gave indicated like they sent me some texts and it was this and it was that. CM Punk met in person with Tony Khan about AEW, and they offered him a lot of money. And he ended up doing this WWE on Fox gig. Now, what does that mean? I don't know. It could mean that CM Punk does not, in fact, have any interest in actually wrestling. It could be that CM Punk wants to continue doing what he's doing in his life. He's over the in-ring aspect of it. He was given a great deal to not even work every week. They made it abundantly clear that he is not a host of this show. He is a special contributor who will be making appearances on a regular basis. He's not even going to be there every week. So it could be, Fox has got a lot of money. It could be that Fox offered him a ridiculous amount of money to occasionally show up as a contributor for a show on FS1, and he took the money and that's what he's doing. It could be that CM Punk does in fact want to wrestle, and he knows that at this point, with WWE's new television deals, they're going to offer him a ridiculous amount of money to wrestle. I don't have exact numbers, okay? But the amount of money that WWE is paying people for Saudi Arabia is astounding. It's astounding what people are making to do Saudi Arabia. Maybe he wants to come back for the Saudi Arabia deal. I mean, if this guy, like whatever money he made in WWE, the first run, I mean, he's going to make so much money if he just did Saudi Arabia shows. It's not even funny. He wouldn't even have to do a regular contract with WWE. I don't know what his plans are. All I know is what happened last night, and it is a Fox deal. He is not under contract to WWE. WWE did announce this on their website. WWE did give the okay to Fox to have CM Punk on this show, so they were open to that. Nobody knew about it except Renee Young. Everybody else in studio was as surprised as everybody watching. But it is amazing that CM Punk's return to wrestling occurred in 2019 after midnight on a show that did 49,000 viewers last week. I would never have expected that, but that's what happened.
So in that case, it's very 2019 now, isn't it?
This is the weirdest year in wrestling in a long time.
It's kind of crazy. It really, really is. And it'll be interesting to see if this is just purely turns into a Fox deal. I want to see if this show lasts, and hey, here's the deal with FS1 and these studio shows that are like this. These types of Lucas Oil Motorsports and bass fishing type of shows where these studio NASCAR hub type of shows it can go on with low ratings forever. It's just a matter of, will WWE continue to maintain interest in it? I mean, that show could do 15,000 people. It will find a home somewhere on FS1, even if it's 3 o'clock in the morning, or on FS. Actually, those numbers on FS2 might put it in prime time. Probably does, unless they got some sort of sporting event and actually live taking place. So it can last forever. And who knows if this is going to lead to something with Punk in WWE, if it leads to something more with him with Fox, which, hey, CM Punk's going to cover hockey in some aspect or do personality stories for Fox and pop up in different places. I'm completely okay with that as well, too. We'll just have to see. It is crazy. This whole thing is crazy. The whole story of CM Punk and leaving and everything that took place on Cole Cabana's podcast that got us to this. It's all almost surreal to see him coming back and to come out there last night. And not only after midnight, by the way, too, but did you like how the fact that because of the way they had
he stepped into the shadows, you couldn't even see him. I was like, oh my God, that's the return of CM Punk?
It was, it was very 2019, but everybody and their mother is going to want him back or going to expect him back. This is going to do nothing to quell CM Punk chants, which will take place at WWE shows, I believe, forever at this point. But yeah, this is crazy. This is crazy, and it's hard to really say anything right now because he's not working directly for WWE or anything like that, but I guess maybe this will be the new game show. We'll have WWE-sponsored TV events where people will pop back up out of the shadows like the Ultimate Warrior and Randy Savage and people we never thought we'd see back in the graces of WWE.
Person here, is CM Punk by any chance a WWE employee and not just a Fox employee? No, he is signed to Fox. He is not signed to WWE. This person says, I know people are going to call CM Punk a sellout and hypocrite, and they can argue about semantics if they want to, but no matter how you slice it, CM Punk is back with the WWE in this fashion at the moment. Actually, he's not. It's not semantics. He's not signed to WWE. He's signed to Fox.
Now, you could say, I mean, if you wanted to try to say, I guess, some sort of guilt by association or something like that, but I mean, if you're CM Punk too, and also I guess you could justify this way is, I'm sure WWE and Triple H don't necessarily like CM Punk. I mean, they would take him back because, doing business is doing business and all that sort of good stuff. But like, I'm sure everything is not perfect.
Listen, doing business is doing business, okay? But if you guys recall, CM Punk was offered a match with Triple H at WrestleMania, okay? He said that there was nothing special to him about a match with Triple H, and he walked out, okay?
H needed him. He didn't need Triple H.
Do you guys realize who we're talking about here when we talk about Triple H? I know that everybody remembers Uncle Paul, all right? But I am rewatching Raw from 1999 and 2000, and we're not even at the peak of Triple H yet.
Peak Paul?
This guy buried more guys than I can even count. This guy in the year 2000 was in fact like Dusty Rhodes in the 80s. He was in every program. Everybody in every interview had to talk about Triple H. The whole company was built around him during a period when Rock and Austin were both there. You don't think Triple H is never going to forget that? That CM Punk said there's nothing special about working with Triple H at WrestleMania and then walked out of the company? That will always be there.